The Democratic Party is committed to constant change, but when something isn't broken, people are far less interested in dramatic change. As the old sales adage goes, if you want to sell a diet pill, you have to first convince people that they're fat. So if you're on the left and want to change America, you have to first convince people that America needs to be changed. And to do that, the left work diligently to convince people that America is a racist, homophobic, Islamophobic place, and if you vote Democrat, we can make it better. The special interest groups of the left, the gay rights movement, the feminist movements, the Black Lives Matter movements are the mercenaries, funded to fight grievances and influence public opinion. It was a wonderful scheme. Left-wing interest groups find incidents of hate and discrimination. The media elitists get great headlines, teasers, and clickbait. Academics have current events to indoctrinate the young with the notion that America is in dire need of change, and left-wing politicians promising such change win more votes. And once in power, they can scratch the backs of big liberal donors or use government tax dollars to continue funding their mercenaries that help keep the scheme in motion. But if there are no grievances to fight, the left's mercenaries aren't needed, and the money dries up, the votes stop coming in, and the scheme is over. So to keep this scheme in motion and prove there is a war needing to be fought, liberals have adopted the tactic of faking attacks from the enemy, and the epidemic of hoaxes was born. Putting up fake posters for conservative groups titled "Hate Muslims? So do we." Democratic congressmen claiming to hear racial slurs at a Tea Party rally which never happened. Democrats in Denver try to blame conservative Tea Party activists for vandalism at the DNC's downtown headquarters, another hoax committed by a liberal activist.
Police say a Volusia County man faked a hate crime, set his girlfriend's car on fire, and then faked his own abduction to throw detectives off. According to an arrest report, 27-year-old Vincent Palmer told detectives he taped a note with racial slurs and the words KKK and Trump written onto his ex-girlfriend's mailbox early Saturday.
A Minnesota gay man falsely claimed he was taunted for being gay and attacked by 4 men. A Western Reserve University assistant professor falsely reported to the FBI that she received racially charged hate mail. The owner of a Middle Eastern meat market said he was the victim of a hate crime that burned down his business, only to be found later he set the fire himself. A girl drew 6 swastikas on her door, only to be found out that the girl who reported the incident drew the swastikas herself. A Muslim college student lied, saying she was pistol whipped by a masked gunman, and said her locker was defaced with a Nazi symbol and derogatory slurs about Muslims. Also never happened.
In Bridgewater got an anti-gay note on a receipt instead of a tip. A customer wrote, quote, "I'm sorry, I cannot tip you because I do not agree with your lifestyle." The customer apparently made an assumption based on Dana Morales' short haircut. Morales, a former Marine, posted the receipt to Facebook, writing that she is angered and she is hurt by this message.
That's outrageous. Here she was serving.
But it turns out it's a hoax after the family accused provided a copy of the receipt and credit card statement that proves they did leave a tip and no hate note was on the receipt. At the University of Oregon, a fake swastika was drawn by an LGBT group to blame another group who they claimed were bigots. A black Red Lobster employee fakes a racist note, allegedly written to her, which turns out to be another hoax. A University of Wyoming student fakes a hate rape threat by Republicans on social media, reading, quote, "I want to hate fuck Meg Lanker Simmons so hard. That chick runs her liberal mouth all the time and doesn't care who knows it," but turns out was another hoax. A gay man fakes his own hate crime in Utah.
According to Jones, his assailants held him down and forced him to drink bleach. The next thing he remembers is waking up in the hospital with anti-gay messages carved into his arms.
I could not believe that that happened in my town to one of my very good friends.
The Jones family's Delta home was vandalized with anti-gay messages. And just this past week, a Molotov cocktail was thrown through Rick's bedroom window.
I thought that the story was so over the top it couldn't possibly have been true.
You got it! Women just won $100,000.
A Muslim high school girl claimed that a mob physically attacked her in an apparent hate crime, which included ethnic slurs and the forcible removal of her hijab. But the assault never happened. A transgender student at a California middle school claimed he was attacked, beaten, and sexually molested by other students in a school bathroom. Only a day later, the student admitted that the attack never actually happened.
Developing tonight, a man in Colorado Springs accused of leaving racist messages outside a church.
A gay man in Tennessee charged claims he was attacked and had a homophobic slur written on his forehead and was later charged with making a false report. A black minister set his porch on fire in another fake hate crime hoax. A mother fakes racist spray paint at her home and reports it as a hate crime against her half-black family. A gay man makes up an assault charge in another hate crime hoax. A gay bar owner in Chicago burns down his own bar and claims that it was a gay hate crime. A Baltimore woman claims she received complaints over her relentlessly gay yard that helped her gather $43,000 in donations through a GoFundMe campaign after reporting that a neighbor left a note threatening to call police over her display after social media users noticed commonalities in the spelling and grammar of her notes and her social media posts. The police were contacted and the investigator said the woman had been unwilling or unable to produce the threatening letter and said that she had no longer had the letter at all and declined offers to meet in person because it was another hoax. Berkeley High School finds a screenshot on a library computer that implied there would be a public lynching December 9th, which quickly prompted a walkout, but turns out was another hoax. Muslims are caught trying to molest some guy's girlfriend, but the guy turns out to be some MMA fighter and kicks both of their asses, but they run to social media showing photographs of their injuries to call it a hate crime. A student at the University of Missouri claimed he was repeatedly called the N-word by some guys riding on the back of a pickup truck through campus, and a week later, the head of student government at USC claimed she was called an Indian piece of shit by a student in a frat house who also threw his drink at my friends and me. She said it's the type of language attackers have used before brutally murdering someone, and that the words ring so loudly in my ears that I still can't shake it from me.
I used to get told that I can't play on the playground with kids because I was, darker than them.
You're the biggest liar I've ever met.
No, sir. No, sir.
Your case is dismissed.
A gay University of North Carolina freshman claimed he was branded on his wrist by an unknown male on campus. He said a man approached him near his dorm and pressed a metal brand into his wrist while uttering a gay slur, which turned out to be false.
A tenant accused of discrimination against a Muslim passenger will no longer serve its customers. The attendant works for Shuttle America, which operated the flight for United, and she's accused of telling a Muslim woman that she could not have an unopened can of soft drink because she might use it as a weapon. Well, this happened on a flight last week from Chicago to Washington, D.C. The woman, a Muslim chaplain at Northwestern University, says the same attendant did give an unopened can of beer to another passenger.
But what actually happened was the woman ordered a Coke Zero. The flight attendant handed her a full Diet Coke with a cup. The lady very rudely said she ordered a Coke Zero and pushed the soda back to the flight attendant. The flight attendant said she was sorry and attempted to find a Coke Zero for her, but since she didn't have very many of them, she told her she could only give her a portion of the can and not the full can. This is when the lady in question started to freak out and told the flight attendant, "What do you think? I will use this as a weapon? Why can't I have the whole can? I think you are discriminating against me." A Central Connecticut State University student told hundreds of the school students at a rally that she had been receiving hateful message in her dorm room for being a lesbian. But after setting up surveillance cameras to identify the perpetrator, police discovered the incident was created by the alleged victim herself. 2 black students at a New Jersey college reported finding hateful and threatening graffiti aimed at blacks and women on their dorm room doors, but turns out it was another hate crime hoax. A gay man makes up a hate crime of being assaulted, but after police receive a video of him doing a backflip and hitting his own face on a curb, the student later admitted that the assault never happened. A Nebraska lesbian who alleged a hate crime was also charged with lying about her attack. A University of Wisconsin Parkside student confessed to creating a list and a noose made of rubber bands threatening black students. A gay Missouri man told police that 2 attackers cut him in the stomach, branded him with a hot knife, and attempted to carve the word fag on his forehead. Later, the man admitted to police that the injuries were self-inflicted, and it was obvious because it was written backwards. A 17-year-old girl and top athlete who leads the school's Gay Straight Alliance told authorities she was the perpetrator of incidents which include scrawling "die fag" on her own car, among other hateful incidents.
20-year-old Louisiana woman who claimed to have been attacked and set on fire by 3 men. Police just announced that the story was fabricated and that the burns were self-inflicted. Sharmika Moffat told police that she was walking through a park when she was attacked. She said that a group of 3 men wrote the initials KKK and a racial slur on the hood of her car.
A lesbian couple burns down their own house after accusing homophobic bigots of burning it down in another hate crime hoax in Tennessee. A black man pretends to be a white person and messages out on social media he's going to shoot all black people on campus. Turns out was another hoax.
She was slashed in the face yesterday near Broadway and Rector Street in Lower Manhattan. Police say she's now admitted it was all a lie. The 20-year-old claimed a man called her a terrorist and slashed her, but police say the wound was self-inflicted.
At Vanderbilt, activists claimed that a hate incident occurred when poop was left on the doorstep of the Black Cultural Center. The incident caused hundreds to rally in protest of the clear-cut racism still rampant in America. However, it turns out that it was a blind female student whose senile dog pooped on campus and she couldn't find a trash can. A former Connecticut cop is arrested after writing fake racist letters targeting himself. A Harvard hate crime in which strips of black tape were stuck over pictures of black professors hanging inside Harvard Law School's halls, but turns out was another hoax. A suspect charged in an anti-Muslim hate crime is not so coincidentally a Hamas-linked care activist named Muhammad, another Islamophobia hoax. The internet was outraged when a nasty note from a purportedly homophobic mom telling gay parents that her child would not be attending their kid's birthday went viral, but now it's been revealed that it was all just a joke, a stunt perpetrated by a New York radio show. Yale finds no evidence of a racist Halloween party. A fraternity president temporarily left school due to the backlash and said he was spat on by a fellow Yale student. Students rallied and raged behind the fraternity's supposed racism as emblematic of a larger problem of discrimination, another hoax. A noose was found at Duke University, and the campus went into shock, bemoaning the elite campus as a hotbed of racism, another hoax. The media freaks out about an arson attack on a Houston mosque, citing Islamophobia. The disgusting liberal publication Salon published an article about the Islamophobic incident, along with many other media outlets. However, the fires were set by a Muslim who attended the church. A Muslim woman who claimed she was assaulted for wearing a hijab days after the Paris attacks also made the whole thing up. A Michigan Muslim was arraigned in Dearborn for making a false police report about an Islamophobic plot to burn up Dearborn Fortson High School, a majority Muslim school. She contacted police claiming that an anonymous friend of hers overheard a group of individuals plotting to blow up the school to retaliate against the attacks in Paris. When the police presented her with the evidence of the holes in her story, she admitted it was a false report. A lesbian professor punches herself in the face and reports it as a hate crime that she got punched at a Toby Keith concert for being gay.
This afternoon, police say a possible hate crime was all a lie. Iowa City Police released details of their investigation into the alleged beating of this University of Iowa student.
A former leader of a black student group at a North Jersey college admits to tweeting anonymous threats against black students. Kayla McKelvey entered a guilty plea yesterday to creating a false public alarm.
At Oberlin College, students found the words "whites only" written above a water fountain, the N-word written inside the elevator, and no N-word was written on a bathroom door at one dormitory. 2 students fessed up to the incidents, and the Oberlin Police Department identified the hoaxers as workers with Obama's Organization for Action Group, another hoax. There was also a reported man in a KKK attire roaming around campus, which was quickly picked up by USA Today, New York Times, MSNBC, and every other liberal media outlet. A little later, police told a local reporter that eyewitnesses saw no one in KKK garb, but instead saw a pedestrian wearing a blanket. A Muslim woman was murdered with a note left on her body that said, "Go back to your country, you terrorist." The crime was universally reported as being motivated by Islamophobia, but the murder turned out to be done by the Muslim husband. A University of Chicago student claimed his Facebook page was hacked and filled with racist and violent messages against him, and another student has now admitted that he faked the attack. After 3 Qurans were found burned in front of a mosque in Dearborn, Michigan, the imam there led a campaign to pass a local statute criminalizing the desecration of holy books. The media ran with it, and the Islamophobia crusade gained traction until it was revealed that the Quran burner was none other than a Muslim. A man who vandalized the Islamic Cultural Center on Christmas Day causes backlash of Islamophobia and also turns out to be Muslim. In an effort to make a point about social injustice, a student at Sweetbriar College in Virginia hung signs on doors and water fountains in a dormitory reading "whites only" and "colored." Another Islamophobic hate crime hoax took place in Germany, where there was an arson attack at the Central Mosque in Cologne, Germany. A racist graffiti was drawn in the dorm room of Grand Valley State student and shocked the public. The racist message had included a stick figure and a hangman noose in the words "Black bitch die" and "Fuck Black History Month," but turned out to be another hoax. A viral video showing NYPD cops profiling Muslims is another hoax intended to smear the police. A Portland Apple employee forges a fake homophobic note on a receipt and pushes it on social media, but turns out to be another hoax. A Muslim at University of Texas Arlington claimed she was targeted by a man in a pickup truck shouting "Watch the fuck out, we're killing all of you," and later claimed she was threatened at gunpoint and pistol whipped. A statement released by the university admitted the entire incident was false and that it never happened, and the girl wasn't even on campus that day. 2 Vassar College students claimed they were victims of a series of hateful messages posted on students' residences. The messages were revealed to be another hoax perpetrated by the students themselves. A New Jersey Muslim was found guilty of murder that was initially blamed on Islamophobia, which he did himself. A gay man claims on Twitter he's locked in the trunk and kidnapped, which also turns out to be another hoax. A Jewish student admits drawing a swastika in a Jewish frat that was initially blamed as a hate crime. At the University of Delaware, students discovered 3 nooses near the hall where the Black Lives Matter group had protested arrested conservative commentator the day before. The problem was the objects weren't actually nooses. After an investigation, they were determined to be remnants of paper lanterns left over from a previous event. After a series of black churches were burned in Missouri, quickly prompting white supremacy claims, St. Louis police arrested a black man for the arson attacks on the churches. A Mexican-American man in Palo Alto is attacked by a rival gang, but blames it on white racists. A hijabbed Muslim was brutally mown down by a speeding car during a protest in the Muslim neighborhood of Brussels. A passenger even leaned out of the car after hitting the woman and took a photo. The gruesome footage spread everywhere as evidence that the far right was racist, but it turned out it was done by a drunk Muslim youth. KKK members found at a Trump rally outraged the media. However, it turns out that they are actually black, trying to make Trump supporters look bad. In Britain, the murder of a popular imam was spread far and wide as another Islamophobic hate crime until the killer was also revealed to be Muslim. Far-left activists go to a Trump rally wearing Nazi armbands, turn out to be Hillary Clinton supporters. Eastern African immigrants fake a pro-Trump vandalizing hate crime. A gay man tries another hate crime hoax, fraudulently saying that a cake he bought at Whole Foods said fag on it, but security footage proves otherwise. A UK Muslim woman lies to police about a hate incident where she was punched for wearing her hijab. A University of North Carolina transgender cooks up her own fake hate crime hoax against college Republicans of North Carolina. A racist drawing on the school whiteboard of a black person hanging from a noose with the N-word next to it with a hashtag white power turns out to be another hate crime hoax and was drawn by 2 black students.
A transgender woman says security escorted her out of a women's restroom at Durham Transit Center this week. But tonight, new video shows a different perspective.
This camera angle shows her walking out of the transit center with a man that does not appear to be a security guard. Saturday, we showed Adams the video. This is her response.
You told us that security was called and escorted you out of the restroom and out of the building. But we don't see that in the security video.
I can't. I guess you just had to be there to witness it.
After some bananas were hung from a tree inciting racial protests from students, Clemson University found another hoax. A gay YouTube star fakes a hate crime by injuring himself and blaming bigotry, and police treated him as a second-class citizen. Turns out to be another hoax. A middle school student accused other students of sending racist text messages to him, but police found that the 6th grader actually lied, and it was another hoax done by himself. A left-wing UK activist fakes a neo-Nazi knife attack from a right-wing extremist who called him a gay communist. Another hate hoax happens as a Spanish-speaking woman is falsely accused of writing on a restaurant receipt, "We only tip citizens." A North Carolina Muslim student is suing her university for not providing her an armed security escort to protest at a Trump rally and demands armed security to accompany her at all of her classes after she says she received online threats but could not provide any evidence of any threat because it was a hoax. A black student at the University of Virginia Law School penned a letter to the editor of the school's newspaper alleging that he was harassed and racially profiled by 2 white police officers, another hoax. A psychology professor at Claremont McKenna College in Claremont, California, fakes her own hate crime by breaking the windows, slashing the tires, and spray painting anti-Semitic slurs on her own car. 3 Albany black women alleged to be attacked by white racists.
We stand here with strength because we value our worth as black women and as human beings in general.
But according to police, all of it was a lie. After carefully looking at surveillance video, cell phone video, and interviewing witnesses, police have now charged the 3 with assault and falsely reporting an incident. Cops say the girls not only instigated the fight, but continued assaulting the victim despite efforts by passengers to stop them.
An Oklahoma Muslim man is charged in a terrorism hoax after allegedly sending a letter containing white powder to a mosque. The Huffington Post delivers another Islamophobia hate hoax about a boy who was beaten on the way home by others on a bus. However, no students who were interviewed witnessed any altercation. The bus driver did not witness an altercation. The child did not report to the bus driver any injury, but after the fake Muslim hate crime is exposed, the family that made it up fled back to Pakistan. At Elon University, anti-Latino graffiti appears, but was all a hoax perpetrated by a student of Latin origin. The 18-year-old Muslim college student who claimed 3 men shouted Donald Trump, called her a terrorist, and attempted to rip off her jab on the New York subway was arrested for filing a false report. A bomb threat was called into a mosque, but the caller clearly had an accent that sounds like he's from the Middle East. Conveniently, that little piece of information was not needed in the media headlines, who blasted out the horrible Americans and their racist hate of Muslims. A black man in Massachusetts has now admitted that he fabricated a hate crime report when he claimed that 2 white men accosted him, saying the U.S. is now Trump country, and threatened to lynch him. A complaint regarding homophobic harassment supposedly done in the name of Donald Trump was investigated by North Park University, another hoax. A black man was arrested for allegedly spray painting a racist message, followed with Donald Trump and black bitch, another hoax. A Villanova University student asked police to drop their investigation into an incident in which she alleged she was attacked by white male Trump supporters because it was another hoax. At Williams College in Massachusetts, 2 students admitted to trashing the school's Griffin Hall with a redwood-stained substance resembling blood and spelled out AMKKK kill. A Bowling Green State University student admits making up a story that 3 white guys clad in Trump shirts called her a racial slur and threw rocks at her. Another student at Bowling Green State University alleged he had been pushed to the ground and robbed, all while the 2 perpetrators allegedly called him a racial slur, but campus police determined that it was false. A viral video of a man escorted from a Delta Airlines flight supposedly for speaking Arabic is the work of a popular YouTube prankster. A community college student was arrested after allegedly drawing over 100 swastikas on campus since Donald Trump's election. A University of Michigan man allegedly threatened to burn a Muslim woman if she didn't remove her hijab, another hoax. Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church in Greenville was burned on November 1st and the words "Vote Trump" were spray painted on the outside of it, but on December 21st, the Mississippi Department of Public Safety made an arrest in the arson case, and the suspect is black. A man who claimed to have been the victim of a racist hate crime actually hoaxed the incident, writing "the N-word lovers" on his own garage door. Another fraternity student is falsely accused of a gay hate crime, which turns out to be false. A TV star cries a racist encounter with police and her son, to which the media picks up, and video proof shuts her down. The dean of the journalism school at the University of North Texas was recently out walking one Saturday morning when she was pulled over by 2 cops and accused them of racism, but after checking out the police video, it proved to be another hoax. And while this is only a portion of the hate accusations fraudulently committed by liberals, in the age of information, where bad information spreads just as quickly, if not more so than good, where anyone is one lie away from their 15 minutes of fame, it seems unlikely that the epidemic of hate hoaxes will end anytime soon.